I've been harvesting fruit out of my backyard garden every single month, and the goal for 2026 is to continue harvesting every month until the end of the year, which I'm not sure I'm going to be able to do, but this month we are successful because this month we're growing peaches. In January and February, we grew strawberries here in Florida. In March, we grew loquats. In April, we grew mulberries. And in May, the earlier part of May, we grew blueberries. Well, here we are towards the end of May. We're heading into June, and we have peaches. We actually also have plums. The peaches and the plums always come in together. But so far, it's looking good. And I think next month, we're gonna be looking at another round of mulberries because I pruned them really hard, and so they're starting to come back. We might have blackberries, we might have figs. There's a lot still going on, so I think we're good for the next couple months. When it comes to growing peaches, I know that is probably one of my most excited trees. These are the trees that I get most excited for, and a lot of people that watch my channel really love Peachy the peach tree because you don't think that you can grow peaches here in Florida, but you can. It just, it needs a little finesse, right? You need a little bit of specialized trees mixed with the right kind of weather, mixed with the right kind of care. They're not the easiest of my fruit trees, but it is the most rewarding, I think. So we're gonna start out with who Peachy is. Peachy the peach tree here. She has been with me. She's got peaches right here. Can you see these? Let's bring them into frame. Anyway, there's peaches all over this tree, but she is a tropic beauty peach tree. She has been with me before we moved to this house, which was back in 2020. So she is at least 7 years old. She might be 8 years old. I can't remember how long before that I got her before we moved here. She was still in a pot. She was still pretty young, but I think she might have been over a year old. And then who knows how old she was when I got her, right? So like I said, she is a tropic beauty, which is a University of Florida designed peach tree. She is specially designed for this state. She requires, I think, somewhere between 150 and 250 chill hours, which is perfect for my area. This last year, we got like 450 hours of chill hours, which is way above anything that I've seen in the 6 years that I've lived here. Typically, my area gets between 250 and 300 hours. That's about average for us, but this year, the winter was pretty cold. But she didn't care. She didn't mind. She produced fruit perfectly. It's because you have like leeway when it comes to the chill hours. And for those who don't know, chill hours are temperatures below 45 degrees, and then you count how many hours that occurs in winter. So the biggest problem with growing peach trees here in Florida is that most peach tree varieties require a lot of chill hours. I mean, 600 plus hours, which is what happens and what's good for our friends up in the north, you know, like North Carolina, Pennsylvania, Georgia, you know, like the states up there. They can get that level of chill hours where we don't. I mean, it's just, I'm in Central Florida. I'm the north side of the Central Florida area. I'm just north of Tampa. So I get more chill hours than say Sarasota gets. That's a little bit more of the south area of Tampa. So you do have to take that in consideration. There is a website. I'll put it down here. I think it's Agroclimate. I'll put it right along the bottom here, and it's a place where you can kind of look up local weather stations that keep track of chill hours. I can't find one perfectly in my area, but I can find a little bit north of me and a little bit south of me, and that kind of gives me an idea of my range. You don't have to be perfect with getting the range. I know somebody who grows these in Sarasota. That's why I mentioned it earlier. I know somebody who grows this specific variety in Sarasota. I know lots of people in Tampa that grow it. So those are definitely on the low end hours of chill hours. But up here in the northern side of Tampa or the northern side of Orlando, you should not have a problem with this tree. And anywhere in North Florida, you're probably not going to have a problem with this tree. There is a flip side to it, right? So even if you get enough chill hours, like if you're in Pensacola, you have to make sure that your tree is flowering at the right time. I had this mistake happen with when I purchased my avocado tree. It was an early producing variety, which meant that the flowers started producing before we were done with our cold weather. And the same holds true for these peaches. These peaches flower like in February. We still get cold in March. Like this last year, we had like a below 32. I think it was like mid-March, like March 15th. It might have been a couple weeks after that. But Thankfully, peach flowers are very cold hardy as compared to avocado flowers. They are not. They're a bit more. They can get into the 20s, but it's still like borderline. If you're more north of me and you get into the 20s when you have peach flowers, you could potentially lose a lot of your peach flowers. So it's a delicate balance of making sure that you have the right chill hours for your area, plus making sure that it's not too early of a flowering variety, because then if it flowers when you have a cold front come through, the cold front could kill the flowers. I know. This is what I'm talking about. She is not the easiest tree to grow. So now that you have a proper introduction and figuring out, how to pick the right variety for you when it comes to chill hours and how old Peachy is and all the things about her, let's talk about some of the ways that I maintain her to make sure that she produces very well. Now, I could allow Peachy the peach tree to get super big. I don't, because I'm in a small space. I have 1/4 of an acre, and it's usually split half between the front yard, half in the backyard, and then I've got this giant pool that takes up a majority of my backyard. So I can't have like these giant trees. I don't have enough space for that. So I read a book called Grow a Little Fruit Tree. Great book, highly recommend it. I'll put it down below. But it teaches you how to keep your fruit trees small. And I really encourage you that if you're going to get into this and you want to get into smaller fruit trees, read that book and start using it immediately when these trees are very, very young, because it's going to be a lot easier to keep a tree small once it's young than trying to take a very large tree and bring it down in size. There's only so much you can do there. I keep her fairly large. She's like 12 to 15. But now I'm always bad with this, like height and distances. I think she's like 12 to 15 feet, probably closer to the 12 than the 15 feet. Some people keep them down to 5 feet. I do 5 feet on my plums. I do 5 feet on my mulberries. Like, there are certain trees that I got when they were very young and I was able to keep them very short. Peachy got a little bit tall on me. She got up to 8 feet and I allowed her to get to 12 just because we really love the peaches. Something to note, speaking of that, is that the smaller trees are going to produce less. It's just how it is, right? You can get them compact, but they are going to probably produce half as much as they normally would. Now, normally that is not a problem because a peach tree can produce crazy amounts of fruit. What she produces at 12 feet is more than we can eat fresh or canned. I'm trying to figure out ways to use up all the canned peaches from last year before these come ready, which they're ready, like almost now. They're starting to soften up. Let me feel. Oh. There's a squirrel that keeps biting my peaches. You guys know all about this. It looks like bugs, but no, a squirrel keeps biting into my peaches. Anyway, they're not quite ready. They're kind of hard. So even while keeping her at 12 feet tall, which is very short for a peach tree, I'm still getting enough that we can't use it all in one year. So I don't think that you need a crazy amount unless you eat like a really crazy amount. Like, I understand if you have little kids in the house, like you might be eating a crazy amount of blueberries and strawberries, like, because little kids like to eat lots of those. You're probably buying them every day. And the same may hold true for peaches. You can them. You can make pie filling. You can freeze them. There's a lot of things you can do with your peaches. But even us at 12 feet, we can't eat all the peaches that she produces. Pruning is a really big deal for us in our garden. We keep all of our trees as short as possible, with Peachy being the tallest. And we do our pruning 2 times a year. So the first time is when she's dormant. When all these leaves drop off and that she's looking sickly, she's not. She's dormant in winter. And so at that point in time, I start pruning her back. I have lots of different videos on how to prune a peach tree, or any tree, honestly. She is a vase shape. There's 2 kinds of shape, which means that she's opened up in the center, and then she's got branches that kind of shoot off in other directions instead of having that main tree trunk in the center. She has been pruned down to no center leader. I did have a center leader for a long time, so if you watch those videos, you probably hear me talk about a modified center leader. I didn't do that with her. So now she is a complete vase shape, and she produces really well with that vase shape. But then also during the summer pruning, I focus less on shape, which is what I do for winter, and more on height. I want to make sure that I can bring her and keep her down, because she's very aggressive during summer. She wants to grow excessively tall. It's getting now to the point where I have to do a height cut in summer, and then I'm having to do some minor height cutting in winter, because the girl just wants to grow. Another thing I do with Peachy twice a year is going to be fertilizing. Her leaves are looking okay right now. There's a little bit of like the yellowing with the green vein situation going on. She always does this, like when she's producing her fruit and she has a lot of fruit on her, she tends to show a little bit of nutrient issues. Once the fruit is picked, I usually put down a fertilizer at that point. I do give time frames, right? So it's usually like February or March, and then like July or August when I give her fertilizer. And I have spans there because it really depends on when she buds and when she fruits, right? So when she starts to bud and you start to see the flowers showing up on the tree, I fertilize her right then. So that can depend. Like this year, that was like March. It was very late in the season compared to when she usually does. But then when she's done with her fruiting, you know, this year she's much later. She's usually, you know, I'm picking it by now. So I have to wait until she's completely done with all her peaches before I give her another round. But I don't really want to give her fertilizer after July because at that point it's just like a lot of growth just to chop it back again. It's a balancing act. You have to keep up with the fertilizer to keep the nutrients there because she's doing a lot of work. She worked very hard for several months for the year, pushing off all this fruit, pushing off all this growth, and she tends to have more demands of nutrients than maybe some of the other trees. Like when I grow mulberries, like loquat, elderberries, they could probably go completely without fertilizer and they seem fine. But she requires a heavy hand of fertilizer. I do use Job's fruit and citrus or Vigora's avocado and citrus. I think it's avocado and citrus. Those are the two that I like. I got Vigora by accident because it's kind of the same color bag as the Job's. And I've been using that because I bought it by accident and it's worked really good. I actually like it. In fact, I kind of like them both equally. So either one of those work and they're in my Amazon store if you're interested. So you saw earlier, we had a squirrel that is taking bites out of my peaches. It's probably the third or fourth peach that he's gotten into. And I know exactly which one it is. And Chloe has been hunting him for a while now. But he's making it past her, you know, because of these peaches. He's very interested. And it's just the one. So hopefully he calms down a little bit. 3 or 4, I'm fine sharing. I wish he would eat the whole peach instead of just taking a bite and walking away from it, and then it attracts bugs because that drives me nuts. But he's not. He's taking a bite. We're doing what we can here. I did go ahead and put water in his bowls. Because sometimes the squirrels and the bugs and the critters and stuff are looking for a water source, birds as well. They're looking for a water source. So they come to your fruit to grab your fruit as a form of water. So I've been filling up the water bowls that I have in designated areas that are safe places where the squirrels and the birds and stuff can get water without Chloe, you know, terrorizing them. The other thing that I do is peaches and plums really are really susceptible to worms. They will burrow into the fruit and it essentially rots the fruit and you can't really eat it, or you can only eat parts of it and it gets really bad. So once the flowers have formed and I have tiny little bits of fruit on there, I will spray the entire tree with spinoside. Spinoside, the brand name is Captain Jack's Dead Brew Bug. Also in my Amazon store, also below. But I will spray the entire tree. You only need to spray them about every month or 2. So like it doesn't have to be sprayed often, spray at night because spinoside is kind of indiscriminate in its killing powers. But we're focused on the worms and not, you know, bees and stuff like that, which is why we wait until after it's done flowering and it has fruit on it. And that's why we do it at night when most of the good guys have gone home. And then as long as it has peaches on it, every month or 2, I will spray it again. You're basically trying to spray it as minimally as possible to control it while getting your harvest. Once harvest season is over, I do not treat my trees. None of my trees get treated, nothing. And really, I think Peachy is the only one that gets spinoside. The rest of them do not. They usually are just fine without it. It's not gonna help with squirrels or any birds. So like when it comes to the blueberries or the figs, like it's not gonna help with that. But the worms seem to affect the peaches worse than anything else. When it's not in season, like when there's no peaches on here, I tend to have problems deeper into the summer with weevils, the Sri Lanka weevil. I have a pretty good problem with those. They chew up the leaves pretty good. When she was young and it was really heavy infestation, I would come out at night and pick them off. One of the easiest ways to get them is like, you know, open an umbrella, flip it upside down, and then shake the tree and they kind of just fall into the umbrella and then you could just dump them in some water. They are tough to catch though because they fly. So if you don't catch them off guard and they fall, they will fly away. So it's kind of a pain in the butt. Now she's older. Some biting of the leaves is not a big deal. I mean, almost by the time the Sri Lanka weevil comes, which hasn't started yet, she will have a bite in every single one of her leaves. As long as most of the leaf tissue is intact, she'll survive that. I have tried and tried and tried to get rid of that Sri Lanka weevil, and it is just, I think it's impossible. So we're just learning to live with it. Thankfully, it's a minor disruption. She seems to be just fine with it. Look at these. I'm so excited. Can you see all that fruit? There's like a bundle of fruit right here. There's bundles all over my head. I'm so excited. I did not thin down my fruit this year. I didn't do it last year either. I think I thinned a tiny bit last year. This year I was like, I want to see what happens when I don't thin it down, because I have always thinned my fruit to try to get the biggest fruit possible. And I have noticed that it felt like I was getting bigger fruit, but I was getting a lot less. So last year I thinned it down maybe 5%, like a very small amount, just where it looked like the branches were so heavy that it was gonna fall down. And I found that I got bigger peaches and I got more of them. Well, this year I didn't thin them down at all, meaning take any of the fruit off. And I am noticing that they're smaller. So definitely thinning, even a small amount of thinning is going to be helpful in getting bigger peaches. So I'm learning that the Goldilocks zone here of, you know, thin a little bit, but not completely ignore it. I'm also having a lot of issues. Like, I don't know if you can see this. I have like a string right here holding some of these branches because they're about to break. That would not be ideal. What would be ideal is for me to take some of this fruit off. But like I said, I was testing it to see how it would do. The other thing I noticed is we are having like one of the worst droughts we've ever had. Well, not ever had. And the worst drought in like 20 years, I think it is. And I have noticed that that has negatively impacted her ability to really swell the peaches. So between not thinning and also the drought, I think I'm coming back with some smaller peaches this year. So it really is going to equal about the same in quantity, in size, or in volume of peaches, because you know, they're smaller peaches, but there's a lot more of them. I think I'd rather have bigger peaches because canning these are going to be just a nightmare because they're so tiny. They're not, I mean, I guess they're not super tiny, but I'm used to them being like a baseball size, and they're more like, I don't know, a little bit bigger than a ping pong right now. Now they're going to get a little bit bigger. I've already seen them getting bigger. I have been supplementing the water a little bit more. I was ignoring it for a while to see if it would make a difference. It obviously does. So now, like every 2 or 3 days, I'm dropping a 5-gallon bucket of water down to help her. And I think it is helping. I wish I would have started earlier because then I would probably see a lot of these peaches a lot bigger. But I digress. It's a learning experience from year to year. And this year I learned I do need to thin a little bit, especially like where they're going to break the branches. And I do need to start supplementing that water probably around the time that I start spraying the spinoside. Immediately upon having fruit, I should start giving it water. You could do a drip irrigation. I don't do that. I don't hand water her usually. If it's not fruiting season, she gets watered with the rain. She didn't get watered all winter long. Like, she just lives here and does her thing. But when she has peaches on her, I'm seeing that there's a great benefit on adding some supplemental water. Now, if your peach tree is brand new and first put in the ground, I actually have an entire watering schedule that you should follow. It's in my book, The Florida Fruit Garden. I just put this out this year. It's brand new. It is an electronic book, and it's going to tell you everything you ever want to know about growing fruit in your Florida garden, including that watering schedule, which is super important. It talks about fertilizer, it talks about how to plant your trees, it talks about timing, and then it has a fruit index that talks about all the different fruits and whether they're good for North, Central, or South Florida, and you know what their pest problems are, what their disease problems are, like special notations about them. And then I have whole sections about what kind of trees you want to grow. Do you want to grow a quick producing garden, a children's garden, a high yield garden, like all kinds of really cool things. You're going to want to check that book up. It's at my website, homegrownfloridagarden.com. Thanks for hanging out with me today as we talked about Peachy. We are going to be harvesting her. Oh, I think this one. Oh, that one's so close. That one's so close. We're going to be harvesting her in the next few days, I think, probably within the next week. which I am so excited to have fresh peaches. That is our favorite thing. And yeah, so if you haven't gotten into fruit trees in your garden, definitely give them a shot because you could be producing fruit all year round. Happy gardening.